What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke, aka JL. But guys, today we are joined by a very special guest. We've got Jen Palvo joining us. For those of you who do not know who she is, or who you are, come on. But for those of you who don't know who she is, one, come on, like, what are you doing? And two, she is a columnist, editor, and business manager at IBT Media. What's up, Jen? Glad to have you on today.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this. It's a day show, which is awesome. I haven't done one during the day yet, so no alcohol, downside. But okay, it's cool to be on during the day.
That, Jen, we drink probably a little bit too often on our 3 o'clock stream. Where we'll like all it takes is one person having a beer, and then everyone else is like, "Okay, I'll grab one."
You twisted my arm.
It'll be like Tuesday at 3 p.m. and Josh will show up with a shot of tequila, and we'll be like, "Okay, fine, Josh. I guess this is what we're doing."
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure, exactly. But in the best way. And Jen, right before we started, you were telling me a little bit about a new thing that you and Nate are pushing out, the 32 and 32, and it sounded awesome. Do you want to talk a little bit about that for people watching?
Yeah. We're super excited about it. Our concept has really evolved over the years. It's something that we came up with several years ago when I was commuting to work. And it's like, I wasn't super into football at that point in time. And it was like, I only care about my fantasy players. Like, I don't have 3 hours to watch The Herd or Will Kane. I did, but I didn't have that time. And it just like dawned on me. And it was like, we can hit on all the relevant fantasy players. We can hit all 32 teams in 32 minutes and give that content to just the average Joe who's commuting to work, which I know is a little bit different now after COVID, but still a 32-minute show, plus or minus a few minutes, of course, with intros and outros and stuff. But that's really what we're excited about. And we'll be launching that here shortly. We're working on some things, but that's our little baby right now.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Like there's so much content you consume that just takes forever. So being able to get just that little snippet is incredible. And with the stuff you guys put out at IBT Media, like no doubt it's gonna be high quality as well. We're excited for it.
Thank you.
We got Anthony in here saying redraft RBs part 658. We're not there yet. That'll be in a couple weeks, Anthony. It's coming. Don't worry. We'll talk about Kalen Balazs on that episode, I believe, is where we'll get to Kalen Balazs finally. Jay Wall in here says heading to Cleveland for a wedding at 4 EST, which is perfect because I won't have to miss this. Let's get it. Welcome in, Jay Wall. Glad you were able to make it. And you know what? Worst case scenario, you could have just watched during the wedding, right? Just pull it up on your phone. I'm sure nobody would even care.
It's
like do you remember the season the Browns played on? They got their one win on Christmas Eve, right? That was their only win of the whole season, the Hugh Jackson era, the one-win season after the winless season. So I hadn't seen a win in forever. And they were playing during Christmas Eve Mass. And my mother forbid me from having the game pulled up on my phone, said it was rude. But the guy in front of me happened to be a Browns fan in Atlanta, Georgia, and had the game pulled up on his phone. And during a moment of silence, like it was very quiet and the Browns won, we both screamed out in the middle of Mass, and my mom was not happy. But what was I going to do? Not celebrate that win?
That's awesome.
So Jay Wall, you can definitely watch during the wedding. Scott Fish in here said first every week, man. It's incredible. Not just every week, every day, first in the stream. Then he says, I need to come on and do a show where I fix all their brackets too. Yeah, you've been pretty upset with most of our bracket choices. Nate in the chat says, let's go. Welcome in, Nate. Glad to have you here. And Jay Wall saying that would be so much appreciated, Scott. Yeah, we've made a lot of people mad with our brackets and tiers, Jen. Just a heads up. People don't like our takes on some things like fruit and sitcoms. They were pretty upset about it. Welcome back in. So, sorry, go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just gonna say, hopefully we can please them this
we'll
show.
remedy that.
You know what? Ryan Reynolds is so loved that. You know what? Actually, we might piss people off if we say we don't like one of his movies. So we'll have to see about that. Swamp says, who dat? Welcome in, Swamp. But he's at work again, delivering sandwiches to Drew Brees. And NBA says, what up, beautiful folks of FYF?
What up, NBA?
Glad to have you in here. Man. And Jalen Simon, you heard Jordan. Send me the link to June. We'll see. Maybe not.
Link has
Jordan said, hey, Jen's husband. Yeah, that's what Nate should probably change his Twitter name to at this point, right? Jen's husband.
Yeah.
You're taking over.
I mean, my name is the first part of his handle, to be fair.
That's true.
There you go. You're right. You're right. It's right in there. And then NBA wants to know, what are your guys' fave Euro soccer team? So during the Euro Cup right now, do you guys have a favorite team?
No.
Anyone you're cheering for? No.
Nope.
NBA, I am pulling for the Netherlands. I am a Dutch citizen. All my family on my dad's side still lives over there, so I am a Netherlands fan through and through. So hopefully they're winning right now. I think their game just started. And then Jordan said 4 votes on the tiers list equals chat votes. Well, it's only 3 today, so we're gonna be able to get it all worked out, guys. Today we are doing redraft running backs part 6. So we're gonna be talking about some of the lower guys, and then we're going to be doing Ryan Reynolds movies after that for our tier list. So we've got some good stuff to get to. Christina in here saying, so excited for 32 in 32.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I'm excited too. That's going to be awesome. And then Anthony said, Jen, greater than Jeff, greater than Josh.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Little did Jeff know that he was going to get replaced. Scott says, I love Ryan Reynolds. I get confused for him in stores all the time. Granted, I think it's the burned, bald version of Deadpool, but it's still a W.
Still a win, Scott.
Still a win.
Oh, okay. Jason, part 6 of 16. We're not going to make it to 16. That would be miserable to talk about. I say we go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull up the running backs list. Guys, if you want to see the other 5 parts of this or any of our other shows, games we're playing, if you want to go watch the episode with Nate and see how much better Jen's doing already, then you can go find that episode on our YouTube as well. You just got to find us at Front Yard Fantasy on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll never miss another one of these videos again. Burner of Stone, welcome in. He said, Scott, I've been mistaken for the fat version of Ryan Reynolds and Just Friends. Still a W. You could compare me to Pikachu from Detective Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds, and I would still take it as a W. Okay, guys, this is what we have so far. And the running backs we're talking about today, we've got Raheem Mostert, Damian Harris, David Johnson, James Conner, and Leonard Fournette. Those are the 5 guys we are going to be talking about today. It's 2 left over from last week, and then 3 new guys that we're going to be talking about. Moving to the bottom, Nate said, I thought we were friends, Simon. Oof. Oh, that's awkward, Nate. I'm so sorry. Just kidding. Nate, we love you. Jen in the chat saying, yay, Jen. You got a double personality going on.
I have, like, my hands are here. What is happening? It must be something Nate's doing, because I think he's
oh, Nate, you sneaky mom. I
think he's got my Chromebook. It was him. He's saying yes, it was him.
Okay, guys. Jen, I'm going to let you pick first. We've got 5 guys here that we're going to talk about today. Of these 5, Raheem Mostert, Damian Harris, David Johnson, James Conner, Leonard Fournette. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Did you add 2 more? I thought it was only 1 through 8. I didn't know you had a 9 and 10.
I did add 2 more today. I added 9 and 10 just in case we wanted to throw them a little bit lower. Okay. I figured as we're getting into these later videos, we might need some additional tiers, but we're going to end at 10.
Okay, well, I'm glad you did, because I am putting David Johnson in a trash tier, like 10. 10.
David
10
Johnson
all the way,
in tier 10. No interest in David Johnson next season?
No, I feel like people want him to be so much better than he actually is. Like, people want him to be something he isn't, and he's just not. So, like, they signed Philip Lindsay and Rex Burkhead and Mark Ingram, and you don't sign those guys if you plan on using David Johnson. Like, just flat out, he's gone. He's dead to me.
Tier 10. Jail, are you agreeing with what Jen says there, or where would you put David Johnson?
I don't know. To me, he's still he's still the best running back on that team.
Above Philip Lindsay, even?
Above Philip Lindsay in my mind. I've never been a big Philip Lindsay fan, so take that for what it's worth. But David Johnson, they have his contract, and they might as well use him as much as they can. I think he'll be all right this season. I would probably put him in tier 7. Tier 7
for John Luke.
For redraft.
For redraft. I am in between you guys, but a bit closer to Jen on how I feel about it. All of the additional running back pieces scare me to death, because they're not insignificant pieces either, right? Philip Lindsay, Rex Burkhead, and Mark Ingram are all decent running backs that they added. It's not like they added a Kalen Ballage and a Carlos Hyde behind him. The other thing that makes me push him lower is that O-line is still terrible, like absolutely terrible. And as of right now, we don't know how much of or if Deshaun Watson's going to play at all, which makes that even worse for the running backs behind that line, right? Deshaun Watson kind of covers up how horrible that line is for some of these running backs sometimes when they have to account for him. I'm going to say tier 9 for David Johnson. He's down there. I think you could still get some fantasy relevant games out of him. I think he's got a chance to be the most fantasy relevant running back on that team, but it's tier 9. So we've got a 7, a 9, and a 10. What does that average out to? So I got to do some math. Divided by 3, 8.6. So that is a tier 9. David Johnson ends up in tier 9 for us. John Luke, which one of these players would you like to talk about next?
I guess let's talk Mostert.
Mostert from JL. Before we do that, some people had some things to say about DJ. Nate said he's simply not reliable. So he said Trash is rather accurate thanks to that brutal O-line. Jay thinks Philip Lindsay greater than DJ. Anthony says DJ tier 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible he gets 18, 20 plus touches a game this late when you're getting him. I would take that shot.
Yeah, I can see it.
He was all right last year when he played behind the same bad offensive line.
He was all right, but that was with Deshaun Watson as well, right? We don't know what we're going to get there.
But I think they still dump off passes and stuff. They're still going to use him in that way. He's still good at pass catching. It probably won't be as good with Deshaun, but
yeah, I meant more for like the rushing side. Like Deshaun, like a rushing quarterback is good for the running backs, and Deshaun definitely makes the defensive line be held accountable for him being able to take off at any moment. Jordan says DJ is the RB3 on his own team, and he can't see DJ without Chase Edmonds. It's just locked in his brain. Nate said I might rank Hyde ahead of DJ, honestly. Wow, people are really down on DJ. Down on DJ. But we are going to talk about Raheem Mostert. John Luke, where are you putting him?
I'm going to put him in where do I want to put Raheem Mostert? I'm going to go ahead and put him in tier 7 as well. I think it's possible he's the main guy on that San Francisco offense. I don't know. I feel like I'm usually pretty hesitant about any San Francisco running back, but hopefully with their pass catching options healthy and a healthy QB that they're able to get some sort of steady production and hopefully Mostert can stay healthy.
So tier 7 for Raheem Mostert.
Tier 7.
I'm actually a little bit more bullish on Raheem Mostert, I think, than you are, JL. I'm between tier 5 and 6, but looking at it, I would draft all the tier 5 guys ahead of him. So I'm going to put Raheem Mostert in tier 6, but he's the top of that tier 6 for me. There's going to be value in that San Francisco backfield. They know how to use running backs, and I think Raheem Mostert is the most likely, not that it's guaranteed, the most likely to be like the top beneficiary of that if he can stay healthy. I do think he's the best running back on that team. I know Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell are there to try to work their way in. They signed Wayne Gallman, but I think it's Raheem Mostert until he gets injured or until someone usurps him. So I'm tier 6 for Raheem Mostert. Jen, what about you?
Well, I originally put him as a 6, but now that we've got, the addition of 9 and 10, I might drop him down a little and agree with JL and put him down there with the other 7s just because he can't stay healthy, man. Like, it's tough for him. He's not having a good go at it. So yeah. I'll leave him at a 7.
7. That makes complete sense. Divided by 3, that puts him in a 7. We had 2 7s and 1 6. I didn't even need to do that math. Raheem Mostert down in tier 7. And I get to pick the next player, and I want to talk about James Conner. That's who I want to talk about, probably because it's the one that has been the most difficult for me to even tier. I'm struggling to figure out exactly what his role is going to be. Before we do that, though, we had some people talking about Mostert. Burner of Stone says Mostert tier 5. Jay Wall says tier 8. Sully says Mostert can live in tier 6. And Nate also says tier 8 for Mostert. Jay saying 8 is fair. And Anthony saying tier 5. What are you guys doing? But Nate reiterating what you said there, Jen. Can't score points if you're not on the field. Yeah, that would be extra hard. That would not go well. James Conner. I have to imagine they signed him for a reason down there in Arizona. And that reason being that Chase Edmonds can't be the lead back. Not that he's not good, but he just hasn't been good in the opportunities he's been given to be a 3-down workhorse. And I don't think they want to use him that way. So James Conner is likely going to have a role on that team. Honestly, I think I'm going to end up putting him in the same tier as Chase Edmonds. I think they are going to have similar value next year. Their production will come in different ways, but I think they could end up around the same way. And then Ronald Jones, that just screams similar situation to me with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. Like those players, it's an unclear, murky situation where both are probably going to be used. Tier 7 for me for James Conner. Jen, where are you putting James Conner?
A little bit higher. I put him in 6. I mean, he had turf toe surgery in the offseason, but I mean, I agree with everything you said. And I think Chase Edmonds, with his size, I think that James Conner is going to be a good complement to that because he's larger than him. But I have hope for him. I'd say 6.
6 for the hope for James Conner. John Luke, where are you putting James Conner?
I'm going to put him in tier 7. I think he belongs there right with Ronald Jones. I'd probably take him over Ronald Jones, but it's pretty close.
It is pretty close. James Conner ends up in tier 7. Then we had 2 7s and a 6. So he ends up in tier 7. Man, James Robinson and Melvin Gordon are getting lonely there in tier 6. Maybe we'll add someone else. Jen, we are back to you, though. Out of these last 2 guys, Damian Harris and Leonard Fournette, which one would you like to discuss and tier next?
I mean, we can talk about Leonard Fournette. There's not really anything to say about him. He's like so underwhelming to me, I suppose. Like, there's just nothing to him. So let me see. In my notes, I put him at a 7. Ronald Jones is still their number 1. So I just don't see Fournette doing anything. And so he gets a 7. Maybe he might get an 8 since we've got a 9 and a 10 now. I'm changing. It's 8. It's 8 for me.
Audible. Tier 8 for Leonard Fournette. It's tier below Ronald Jones. John Luke, where are you going with this one?
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. Finish your Gatorade. We're good.
Okay. I liked Lenny when he played last year. You know, we got playoff Lenny. That was fantastic. And I believe in the talent. You know, he was excellent in Jacksonville. You know, apart from the later half where he ended up getting cut, but I do believe in his talent. And I think him and Jones are probably going to end up splitting, which would make neither of them that enticing for your fantasy team. But I'm going to put him in 7.
7 from John Luke. We had an 8, a 7, and a 7. Burner of Stone says the Rojo. Oh, I never said what I did. I just spoiled it. Burner of Stone says the Rojo disrespect is real. And Lee Fournette, where he is, it's Rojo season. He doesn't even want us to put him on the tier list. You know, I agree a bit with both of you. I do think Rojo is probably the more valuable asset during the regular season, during the fantasy season, but they're going to get Leonard Fournette involved. And they showed a successful plan in the playoffs last year, right? They kept Leonard Fournette relatively healthy. Ronald Jones carried more of the workload, and then it shifted come playoff time. Who knows if that's what they're going to do this year, but they saw the benefit that a running back with healthy, fresh legs had for them in the playoffs. So I tend to agree with JL a little bit that it's going to be a split workload, but I've come to a slightly different conclusion in that I think that puts him down in tier 8, 1 tier below Ronald Jones. So I think that ends with Leonard Fournette in tier 8. David Johnson still sitting down there alone at the bottom. And John Luke, you get to pick who's the last guy you want to talk about.
I want to talk about Simon Grunewald.
Okay. We don't have enough tiers to throw him on the tier list. That'll be in part 658. Nate said Uncle Lenny is so hit or miss. And Jay said Gio is in town too.
That don't matter.
I think it matters a little bit more than people are thinking. Gio is an established and really good pass catching back. They drafted Keyshawn Vaughn, I think, wanting someone to fill that role. Like the team has shown that they want someone to be that pass catching back, and I think they might use Gio in that way. We could see a dip in targets for both Lenny and Ronald Jones because of Giovanni Bernard. I don't think he's insignificant. I'm not saying he's worth drafting or flexing, but he could be significant in the sense that he detracts from their value.
It's definitely possible. I think the Bengals are using him out of desperation last year. I don't think that the Buccaneers acquired him for anything more than a depth piece, you know, in case one of their guys goes down, you know, and in football, I feel like actual football, not fantasy, you see that a lot, right? Like these contending teams are going to try and stack up their running backs in case there's injury, so they can go for their Super Bowl run. And I think that's what this is.
Yeah, I can see that as well. 100% a possibility. Burner of Stone says, did you even see Gio's quads, Nate? I'll throw that question to you as well, JL. Have you seen them?
I have not.
And then Burner of Stone said, that's the tier list show I want to see where we do quads. We actually talked about that like last week. We said, was that yesterday? We said we were just going to put up tons of pictures of quads and not say who they belong to and tier them. And then at the end, reveal how we tiered different players' quads. That would be pretty fun.
You should do it.
Nate said thick thighs tiers. Yes. Yeah, that's what we're all here for, right? That's why we all play fantasy football. It's for the thighs and quads of those players out there.
That's why I watch.
Me too. That's how I got into it, really. Eventually the love for the game developed, but it was the quads that got me invested.
Sure.
Okay, John Luke, we can't talk about me. How about Damian Harris? Can we compromise?
Sure. Yeah, I liked Damian Harris like the few times we got to really see him last year. He looked good in college. I don't like to trust Patriots running backs in general. I feel like it's just not a good move, but they haven't really gotten anyone else there. I'll probably put him in straddling between tier 7 or 8. I probably put him in tier 7.
Tier 7 from John Luke. Man, I don't really know what to do with Damian Harris. My instinct when I look at it is to immediately put him in tier 10, but I think I'm just underestimating. Like there's going to be value in that Patriots backfield. I just have never been successful in figuring it out. But you're right, Jail. There's limited competition there this year. We know James White role. Ramondre Stevenson, we don't know what he's going to be. It's Damian Harris's job. The quote from Bill Belichick that he put out the other day actually made me worried. I initially read it as a positive, then I read it again, and they were talking about how Damian Harris, he's a special athlete. He can be used in a ton of different ways. Like that makes me think they're like, I read it as a positive at first, and then after I was like, oh, they're trying to use him on special teams. Like, are they getting him involved in other ways? He can build sheds. Like, yeah, what are they having Damian Harris do? He can hand out water bottles on the sideline. Like, he's really talented at that. Just due to the uncertainty of the Patriots backfield and my lack of belief in his talent, like just alone as a running back, I'm going to put him in tier 9 with David Johnson. I think I'd rather Leonard Fournette than Damian Harris this year. Man, that doesn't feel right though. Jen, where are you putting Damian Harris?
I'm going to put him at a 7. I mean, if it's the Cam show again this season, then you're right. Like Cam's a running quarterback and he doesn't like to hand off the ball a whole lot. So if Cam's working it, if he's playing, then he's got nothing, like Damian Harris, who, but throwing Mac Jones and we could see a different side of him. But without knowing that, I mean, yeah, I'll put him at a 7.
Hopefully they use him in the passing game this year too, because he was really good at that in college, but they just have not used him in the passing game at all.
Right.
I mean, with James White there, it's going to be tough.
James White. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, Josh, what do you think?
It's tough for him to get involved. Yeah, what's up, Josh? Welcome in.
Like Damian Harris. I think he should be in tier 7.
I'm fine with tier 7. Sorry, that's what he said, word for word. I'm fine with it. Yeah, that's fine with me. Josh is fine with everything on the show.
Haven't thought about it that way. That's a good point.
Nate said Cam Newton RB1 in New England, and then said Ramondre Stevenson, though. Yeah, we can't forget about him. And Jay Wall said tier 7, but I don't like doing it. Burner of Stone said tier 7 as well. So looks like I'm a bit lower on him than other people. Nate again saying Stevenson will be the goal line guy. His running style is brutal. Man,
possible.
That's I love that adjective when describing a running back. Like it immediately paints a mental picture of the kind of runner they are. And then Nate said, especially when Mac Jones takes over. So Jen, to your point as well, it's probably better for Damian Harris if Mac Jones is the quarterback than if Cam Newton. Josh said trading makes fantasy fun. Where do we say that? Oh, sorry, I missed the previous comment. Jeff, trading makes fantasy fun in case you didn't know. Josh saying he had no idea. We should say that more on stream. Yeah, we probably should say that more. Joe, can you make a note of that?
Yeah, I'll just write it right on my desk here.
Okay, there you go. Burner of Stone says, I just realized that I don't want any Patriots this season. Gross. Yeah, when you look at that roster, it's like You want Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, maybe one of the tight ends, but good luck picking the right one. And there may not be a right one. It may just be two non-valuable tight ends because they eat into each other's work. Guys, that ended up with Damian Harris in tier 8 with 2 tier 7s and a 9, averaged out to 7.66. So that throws him in tier 8 there with Leonard Fournette. But because you guys both said 7, let's throw him in front of Lenny. Give him a little bit of respect. The next tier we have, guys, is the all-important one. Not that running backs aren't important, but come on. I'm not sure it gets much more important than Ryan Reynolds movies. So we are tackling that next. Let me go ahead and throw that up there. And guys, if you want to watch more of our show, another reminder, you can find all of our previous videos on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. We've tiered other movies, sports movies. Yesterday, they did a bracket for Disney sports movies. I unfortunately had to miss it, but you can check all of that out on our channel. And if you subscribe, you can make sure you don't miss another one. Jen, we're going to come back to you first again to pick out the movie you want to talk about. Here are the options. Some of the title names got cut out, but we can figure it out. It looks like some of the title names are mixed up, but I've got them all listed. Is there one in particular you want to talk about?
Yeah, but it's not on here.
It's not on here? Well, then I'll add it right now.
Okay. You have to add Buying the Cow.
Buying the Cow.
Wow.
That's
Never
getting
heard of
added
that
right
one.
now. I've never heard of that one either.
Oh my God.
So we are fully trusting. You need to give us the lowdown on Buying the Cow while I get this added.
Bernard Stone says, put them all in tier 1. GG.
Agreed. Okay, so Buying the Cow, he wasn't the lead in that movie, but it's a movie about this couple who has relations, and the whole concept behind Buying the Cow, is you don't have relations with someone before they put a ring on it. And he's just so funny in that movie. And it came out the same year as Van Wilder. So it was like, bang, bang. So amazing for him to just like make this debut of the character who he embodies so well, which is just this goofy, quick-witted, funny, smart, quirky guy. So yeah, that's Buying the Cow. Yeah, it's good. I can't find it anywhere. I have it on DVD, but you can't find it anywhere streaming unless you want to pay for it.
We'll just all of us here on the show and in the audience will just come over to your and Nate's house and we'll just have a DVD watch party.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, I'm adding it right now, and then we'll throw that. Where would you tier that one? Is that your favorite one? Would you put that in the S tier?
I would put it up there. Yeah.
S tier. John Luke.
I've never seen it, so I abstain.
You abstain. I abstain as well. And Buying the Cow, which is now on the tier list, is going to be in the S tier. Then there you go. S tier for Buying the Cow, and we're gonna have to go watch it. Maybe we make some adjustments after we see it.
Colors are all goofy here.
All goofy?
Yeah, F is green.
I went with the defaults. The defaults does red as S and F is green for some reason. I'm not sure why it does that. Jordan says Green Lantern is an F tier. John Luke, which movie do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Green Lantern?
I'm fine with talking Green Lantern. F tier.
F tier for you?
Yep.
Yeah, F tier for me as well. Truly terrible. Just awful in every sense of the word. And I love Ryan Reynolds. I got zero enjoyment from that movie. Jen, what do you think about the Green Lantern?
Okay, I'm D, only because Blake Lively is in it, and that's where they met. And so I love that story for them. Okay. And it's really not that bad, you guys. I know that Ryan Reynolds would even put it in as an F, but I mean, it's a D.
D. So we've got 2 Fs and a D. That still ends up in F tier, unfortunately. But Jen, what you said is how I feel about the Hulk movie, like the one from the MCU. I assumed it was an F in my head, like that it was just god awful. And I went back and rewatched it, and it's fine. Like it's
the one with what's his name?
The one with what's his name before they switched to who's his face.
Who's his face. Yeah,
that one. That's not as bad as I thought it was the first time I watched it.
I like that. Edward Norton. There it is.
Edward Norton. It is. Also, Jen, Brad agreeing with you about Selling the Cow. Says such a funny movie. Good call. Man, we just completely missed out on it, I guess. And Jordan said, I was 4 when this movie came out. Well, Jordan, what was that, 2 years ago? Yeah. Josh said Green Lantern and Deadpool on opposite sides of the tiers, and Josh leading into it. I want to talk about Deadpool next, and I 100% agree with Josh. That one's S tier for me. Deadpool is funny. It's got action. It's quintessential Ryan Reynolds. Like, if you love Ryan Reynolds, I feel like you have to love that movie. S tier for me. Jen, where are you putting Deadpool?
What's up, Val?
S. It's it's like my deserted island movie. Like, you can only take a few things with you to this deserted island for the rest of your life, and Deadpool is one of the movies I'm taking with me.
S tier, deserted island level. That should be above S tier, a deserted island level movie.
Yeah.
John Luke, where are you putting Deadpool?
It's S tier. It's excellent.
Man, unanimous S tier. Jen, it's your choice next. Yet. Yeah, no one's fought yet. I'm waiting for it. Also, Jason, Jen, I love you, but it is that bad talking about Green Lantern, saying, come on.
Okay, Jay, we'll talk about it later. Let's go with Just Friends. I love this movie because you get to see a fat Ryan Reynolds, and he just like makes fun of himself, and it's so amazing. So I have to put that in S because I could watch that movie every day.
John Luke.
I know I've seen this movie, but it's been a long time. I think I would put this in C. I think so.
You said C. And Jen, did you say S?
Yeah.
For that? Okay, I'm going to go in between you guys, but closer to Jen. I'm going to say A for Just Friends. I love a good rom-com, and I agree with you there. His self-deprecating humor in that movie is fantastic. Just Friends is an A tier for me. So we've got an S, an A, and a C. That brings Just Friends out to a B. Yeah, a B, a 2.3. No, that's an A. That is an A. So Just Friends ends up in the A tier. Where is that on here? I know it's on there. There we go. Found it. Thank you. John Luke, Just Friends is up there. We got some rom-coms, some action movies, comedy. What are you putting up next?
All right. I want to put up Buried. And I want to put that in S tier because it's terrifying. I have like a massive fear of being buried alive, and watching a movie about it just gets my heart going.
Everything about what you're saying, I agree with, but it's for that reason. Like, I am so anxious while watching that movie that I can't put it in S tier. Like, I don't enjoy it. Know what I mean? Like, it's one of those movies where, like, I recognize it's great, but I don't want to watch it again. Like, I do not want to put that movie on again. So it's going to be B tier for me for that reason. Like, I recognize it's a great movie, but I'm not putting that on anytime soon.
I haven't seen it because, like John Luke, I am terrified of being buried alive and putting myself through that agony of watching a movie.
It's difficult.
Yeah, so I have to abstain on this one since I've never seen it.
Okay, that ends up in A tier then for Buried. There it is right there. Another movie in A tier, and we've got Burner of Stone saying, I can relate to this movie except for the part where he becomes successful, wealthy, and skinny. A tier. I'm guessing that's for Just Friends.
No, Buried.
For Buried, yeah. I forgot that plot line.
A lot of weight in that box.
I always turn it off. Nate saying Waiting is so elite, and Burner of Stone saying Waiting is definitely S tier. But we're gonna have to wait a second to talk about that movie. I know. And I'm gonna talk about National Lampoon's Van Wilder. That's the one I want to bring up. Now, I know that none of the National Lampoon movies are like cinematic masterpieces. Like, I'm fully aware of that. I know they are like what do they call those, like late night comedies? Like none of those are like the top tier, but it's so much fun to watch that I have to put it in at least B, and I'm tempted to throw it up in A tier. I'm gonna go with B tier for Van Wilder. Jen, where are you putting Van Wilder?
A. For sure.
A tier.
A. Yeah, A if not S, because it's just so funny. A. We'll stick with A.
It's very underrated. We've got an A tier and a B tier. John Luke, where are you putting it?
It's S tier for me. It is the best of those types of movies. And when he makes whatever, I forget the guy's name, but his rival, he slips laxative into his drink before his exams, and then he just shits in the trash can during. Oh, it's fantastic. Still like top 10 funny time in the movie.
Yep.
Maybe that's where my mom got the idea. I've told you about the time my mom gave me laxatives before my exam, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I had an upset stomach. I was taking a summer class at a school about 45 minutes away. Like when I was home from Clemson for the summer, I was taking a class at Kennesaw State and got in the car to drive. But before I left, my stomach hurt so bad. I was like, hey, Mom, do you have anything for my stomach? And she was like, oh, sure. Grab something out of the medicine cabinet, poured it for me. I drank it without even looking at what it was. And then like throughout the whole exam, my stomach was just hurting so bad. And I was like, it was a tiny little room. And I was like, I cannot like rip one in here. Everyone will know it was me. Like I have to hold it. And so finally I get out of the exam. It's like a 2-hour exam. I go sit in my car and I finally rip one and I shit my pants full on, like just couldn't even do anything about it. 45 minutes from my house. And I get home, look at the bottle and it was like magnesium something. It was just laxative. Like it was just straight liquid laxative. That my mom, I guess maybe she thought it was Pepto or something, but she laxative.
She got you good.
Okay, your mom and my mom should be best friends then, because my mom did the same thing to me. I was like, Mom,
no way.
I have really bad heartburn. Like, do you have anything for this heartburn? And she's like, oh yeah. And she pulls out this like blue bottle and same thing, just down the hatch. I'm like, okay, I trust my mom. This is going to be great. We get home and I'm like, something's not right here. And she's sent the bottle with me. Yeah. She sent the bottle with me. Like, well, just in case you need it later. I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. Oh my God. Like milk of magnesia is not for heartburn, mother. It is a laxative.
No, it is not for heartburn.
It is a laxative. So the rest of my day was ruined. So yeah, your mom and my mom, they can meet up or we'll just like reverse it and do it to them to see how it feels.
Perfect. Yes. Oh my, that's great. I don't know.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's perfect. We'll have to, that's so funny that you have like the same story that your mom gave you laxatives when you were feeling ill. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Jen, it is your turn to pick the next movie. Which one do you want to talk about next?
Let's go with.
And if it's not on there, we can add it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to decide because I just watched 6 Underground 2 or 3 days ago for the second time or the third time. Let's talk about 6 Underground.
6 Underground.
I'm going to give 6 Underground for the opening scene alone, it has to be an S. It is the most epic opening scene to a movie that I have ever seen. The car chase and everything that they were doing was just like so elite. So I'm putting it up there in S.
S tier for 6 Underground. John Luke?
I've never seen it, so I will abstain.
Okay, well, when we're done with this, you know what you're doing. You're going to watch 6 Underground. I think it's on Netflix right
I think
now.
I've seen it on there, and I might have like looked up reviews and wasn't like super impressed, so maybe never watched it, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah, at least just like the first 15 to 20 minutes, because that's how long the opening scene is.
Okay.
Nate saying 6 Underground is so good, and Josh saying 6 Underground was entertaining as hell, and Josh took the words right out of my mouth. It wasn't like my favorite movie in the world, but it was so entertaining. It was just so much fun to watch. The concept is cool, like from like a movie perspective. It's one of those movies where even if it sucked, I probably would have still enjoyed it just on the concept. Like what's that one with Justin Timberlake where currency is time?
Time.
In Time, I think, or yeah, Time. Like that movie sucked, but I still liked it. And this one's better than that one. I'll go A tier for this one.
Good movie,
so we've got an S and an A. But tie goes to the guest, so we're going to throw it up in S tier. 6 Underground ends up in S tier.
Wow, it's Deadpool level good?
Just for the opening scene. Like
opening scene alone.
Yeah, opening scene alone, S. The rest of the movie can be like A or B, but it's really good.
Josh said, I guess I didn't expect it to be good, but I was pleasantly surprised. And Burner of Stone says 6 Underground is awesome. S tier. Agreeing with your call there. John Luke, which one do you want to talk about next? Don't steal mine. I know what I want.
All right. I'll go with Adventureland.
No!
Stolen. Adventureland is a fantastic movie. Oh, it's so S tier.
It might be my favorite one on this list. It's S tier.
So good.
Though
I don't know. I put it above Deadpool, but it's good.
I truly think it's my favorite one on this list. Tim and I accidentally discovered a fun way to watch Adventureland in college when we meant to download Zombieland, but downloaded Adventureland instead. So we watched the first half of Adventureland while Zombieland downloaded, watched all of Zombieland, and then watched the rest of Adventureland. And it like kind of like it it's got some of the same actors, so like you can kind of piece them together, and a lot of the colors and like the camera angles are similar. So it's kind of confusing to watch them together, but it works. It's so much fun. That being said, S tier, Adventureland. John said Ryan Reynolds was strange in that. Yeah, it was not his usual character in Adventureland. Jen, where are you putting that movie?
I haven't seen it in so long. Is that the one with Sam Rockwell? Is Sam Rockwell
I'm
in that
so
one?
bad with actor names.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, but
okay, I'm trying to think. I don't think
Jesse
I can.
Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, I thought some. Okay, well, anyways, I thought it was good, entertaining movie. Probably a B for me though.
A B. So we've got 2 S's and a B. I believe that'll bring it to an A if I'm not mistaken. 0.6. Yeah, that's an A. You prefer Adventureland or Zombieland?
Adventureland.
I love Zombieland so much. I can't. I mean, Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson kills it in that movie.
Yeah, I have to go Zombieland over Adventureland, but I'll give Adventureland another shot.
It's so good, but I think I agree with you. Like, it's S tier, but so is Zombieland if Ryan Reynolds happened to be in that movie. Man, can you imagine if Ryan Reynolds was in Zombieland? What that?
Oh my God, it would be amazing.
We should all get one time in our life where we're allowed to call up and be like, "Hey, refilm this movie, but with this person in it."
Yeah,
and you're just given that pass.
So many different movies.
Rick said Zombieland greater than Adventureland. Josh saying Zombie greater than Adventure. And Nate saying, can we all just agree that Ryan Reynolds is a blanket S tier person?
We can.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. JL?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Josh agreeing as well. Josh is obsessed with Ryan Reynolds. It's kind of funny that he's not here today for the Ryan Reynolds tier list. Well, now I got to pick a different. I know. I got to pick a different movie, JL. I'm going to go with The Proposal. The Proposal is phenomenal, and I love Sandra Bullock. I put it on par with Just Friends in my mind, so I'm going to put The Proposal in A tier for me. It's not quite S tier. I can't put it up there like Deadpool, but it's an A tier. It's an A tier movie. Jen, where are you putting The Proposal?
I'll put it in A too. It's one of those movies that you can just watch a million times. It's mindless. I just wish that Ryan Reynolds was a little bit more quirky in it, because I mean, he has some good lines, but his full personality doesn't shine in that movie for me. But I still love the movie. I love Sandra Bullock too. So, and Betty White's in it. Like, what?
Someone said that in the chat as well. Jay said, fantastic movie. Plus it has Betty White.
Yeah.
Plus it has Betty White. So we've got 2 A's. John Luke, where are you putting The Proposal?
It's a C for me. Unlike you two, I don't like Sandra Bullock. Not a fan.
What?
This is crazy.
I'm sorry.
That's like sacrilege.
And like anything, you don't like her in anything?
I mean, Miss Congeniality was fine at the time. But no, I'm just not a big fan.
Interesting.
Okay.
She's C level. I don't dislike her. It's just I'm meh.
Yeah.
2 A's and a C, like Leonard Fournette. Oh no! Don't say The Proposal is Leonard Fournette. That's so disrespectful to that movie.
Yes.
Jay said once again, JL hates something universally loved.
I don't know that it's universally loved.
And Nate says, "What, JL?" And said, "I had a huge crush on her after Speed came out." And Jay said,
Speed was a good movie.
We don't call him Thanos for nothing. Yeah, earning it with his take on The Proposal. But that puts The Proposal in B tier with 2 A's and a C. It comes out to 2.6, which puts it solidly in that B tier. JL dragging down. But that's okay. Jen, you've got the next pick. Which movie would you like to talk about next?
Okay. Oh, Voices. Have you guys seen that one?
I have not seen Voices.
No.
Okay.
So you get to sell us on Voices again.
It is an insane movie. Like, we watched it during the lockdown because it was like, well, I guess. I mean, I've already watched everything else. And what's this Ryan Reynolds movie? It's entertaining, but so disturbing that I have to give it a D. Like, it's just not where I want to see Ryan Reynolds. Like, that avenue is not him. It's not good. Maybe it's an F. It might be Green Lantern. Like, it's a weird movie.
For anyone else who is unaware of this movie, the description on Google is a mentally unhinged factory worker, Ryan Reynolds, must decide whether to listen to his talking cat and become a killer or follow his dog's advice to keep striving for normalcy.
This kind of sounds like my type of movie.
That sounds bizarre. Rick said Voices is crazy. Nate saying Speed was great. So you're putting it down in D, Jen?
No, I changed it. It's an F.
You changed it to F.
Yeah.
F for Voices. Josh said, wait, what? I'm guessing he likes Voices. Voices ends up in F because Jail and I have not seen Voices. John Luke, which one would you like to talk about? Unless you want to keep talking about the plot to Voices, because that sounds truly bizarre.
It does sound wild.
The dog and the cat actually talk during the movie. Like, it's just weird. It's weird.
Jay says it sounds like Simon wrote that movie. Yeah, it does sound a little bit like like I had something to do with it. And Ricky Butt said, I loved Voices. Checks out. I bet JL's going to love it too when he watches it. And then he's going to rewatch The Proposal and be like F tier.
Yeah.
John Luke, which movie do you want to talk about next?
Man, I don't know if I've seen many of these other ones, but I know I've seen Detective Pikachu, and that was just okay. I didn't love it. I would put it in B, and most of that is nostalgia carrying it.
I thought you were about to put it a lot lower than that, and I completely agree with you though. It was fun. Like, it wasn't some cinematic masterpiece, but it was fun and I liked it, and it had the Pokemon nostalgia for me. And as far as like live action Pokemon movies go, I was really nervous that they were going to screw it up and make it terrible, but they did a pretty good job with it.
All right.
B for me as well. B for Detective Pikachu. Jen, where are you putting Detective Pikachu?
Didn't see it. Couldn't do it. I can't go see a movie that has Ryan Reynolds' voice in it, but not see his face. So I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Makes sense. It was a little confusing being like attracted to the voice of a mouse for me. Like I had trouble with that, but I got past it. Yeah. So Detective Pikachu goes in B tier. And now I get to pick the next movie, and we are going to go with one that we put Deadpool up in S tier. So I think it's only fair to talk about Once Upon a Deadpool. It was bad. It was not good. It was true. Like Deadpool 2 was pretty good, but Once Upon a Deadpool was just like a crime against that franchise. It seems like with how good the other two movies were. I'm going to put it in D tier. Jen, what about you?
I didn't see it. I did not even know this movie existed. What is it?
Me neither. Is he in it?
What did you say?
Is he in it?
He is in it. It's like an extra on Deadpool 2. It's the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2 that they edited down.
Oh, I'm kind of remembering hearing something about it. Did it come out during the pandemic, or was it?
It says 2018.
Oh, so yeah. Apparently, I had no interest in it.
Okay. I remember Ryan Reynolds pushing back. Like, he did not want a PG-13 Deadpool, did not want a PG-13 Deadpool. So I think he fully intended for this to be terrible. Like, but it worked. It's awful. John Luke, Jen, you guys haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
Have not. Deadpool 2 is fantastic. I just watched that recently.
We're gonna go ahead and put it in F. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm changing my vote. Deadpool 2. You guys, while we're on the topic, you want to talk about Deadpool 2? Jen, where would you put Deadpool 2?
Deadpool 2, I did not love as much as the original Deadpool. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, stop listening right this minute. But like with Vanessa dying, I just like my mind to start the movie that way. I just wanted to kill somebody. And like, why are you doing this to me? I love her so much. And we fought so hard for their relationship in Deadpool that it was like, and now you killed her. And now I'm like, is she coming back? Is she really dead? So my mind's all over the place. So I got to give it a B.
B tier for Deadpool 2 from Jen. John Luke, you just said it was fantastic. Where are you putting it?
Fantastic. I'm putting it in S. I loved it. It's absolutely hilarious. Great.
Better than Deadpool 1?
It's up there with Deadpool 1.
So S and B, and I'm going to split the difference. It was really good, but it wasn't Deadpool 1 in my mind. So it's an A, and that's where it ends up, right in the middle. Where is it on here?
I don't think you have it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it
it's
is.
right there. Yeah. Lost it for a second. Deadpool wasn't big enough on it, so I got confused for a second. Jen, which movie would you like to talk about next? I say we each pick one more, and then we'll call it for this tier list. So what is your last choice for Ryan Reynolds movies to talk about?
I will go. Oh man, that was a good one. Let's go Change Up.
Change Up.
Yeah. I'm going to give Change Up an A. I love the dynamic between Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds in this movie. I loved how funny it was. I could watch that one day or night anytime. An A or an S? I'll keep it as an A. An A, because it's not as good as Deadpool to me.
Oh, yeah. Ricky
John Luke
said the Brad Pitt cameo is one of the best ever.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
And then Burner of Stone saying Deadpool 2 is tier S for X-Force and Peter alone. Nate saying
Yeah.
Peter. John Luke, where are you putting the Change Up?
I've never seen it, so I will abstain.
It's a good one.
Jen, did you land on S or A?
A.
A. And I'm going to agree with you. I love a good bromance movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're fun. It's a fun like take on the traditional rom-com when you just make it like a bromance in there instead, and they do a good job of that. And Ryan Reynolds in a bromance, like it just works, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say A as well, and we'll throw that up in A. Where is that cover? There it is. A tier for the Change Up. John Luke, which one of these movies do you want to talk about?
What's that one with him and Denzel?
Safe House. Or is that
Safe
Hitman's
House.
Bodyguard?
Oh, wait, no.
That's Safe House.
Denzel wasn't in that one. Sorry. Yeah.
I haven't seen, I don't think, any of these, so.
You've seen Waiting, right?
I don't think I've ever seen Waiting.
Have you seen Definitely Maybe?
I don't think I've seen any of these. Maybe the Rest in Peace Department, but I think I might have seen that one. Movie. But I don't think I liked it. I'm going to put that in D. We'll do that one.
That movie belongs in F. That movie is awful. I think every list you look at of Ryan Reynolds movies, it's consistently rated last in like every objective, subjective, like official list, unofficial list. It comes in last place. It's F tier for me. Jen, where are you putting RIPD, the Rest in Peace Department?
I did not see it for a reason. It did not look good to me.
So we've got D and F. John Luke, I'll let you pick. Do you want to put it in D or F?
I don't honestly remember much about it, so.
Man, it looks like Ryan Reynolds, based on our tier list, makes great movies or terrible movies. A lot more great than terrible. We've just got 4 down here in F. Okay. You know what? Let's do 2 more. I'll pick one more, and then Jen, we'll let you end the show picking one. And I want to talk about Safe House. That was not a good movie, and I was very excited because it's got Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington, but it's just not good. Like, it's not fun to watch. The script kind of sucks. It like with a cast like that, you would think they would go out of their way to make sure it was a good movie, but I didn't enjoy it. For Reynolds and Denzel alone, I'll give it a D, but truly it belongs in F. D tier for me. Jen, where are you putting Safe House?
I didn't see it. What's the premises of it? The premise of it?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm terrible at explaining movies. What it says on IMDb: for the past year, rookie CIA agent Matt Weston has been eager to prove himself while cooling his heels at an inactive South African post. He gets the chance when Tobin Frost, a turncoat operative, is brought to Weston's safe house for debriefing, but soon after mercenaries attack.
Okay, it's an F. I fell asleep.
There you go.
I do remember that now.
You remember it now?
And
I was trying.
And the Hitman's Bodyguard. I fell asleep during that one too.
I think Nate said that he fell asleep twice during The Hitman's Bodyguard as well, if I remember correctly. He said that earlier in the chat. Said he's tried to watch it twice, fell asleep both times. So I put Safe House in D. Jen put it in F. John Luke?
I'm going to abstain. I did not see this one.
Okay. Then we're going to end up in F with it. Tie goes to the guest. And Jen, one more movie. Which one would you like to talk about?
It has to be Waiting. We're talking about Waiting, and we're putting okay, you have to kind of dissect this one because Ryan Reynolds, S in Waiting. The rest of the movie is like B to A, and if you've never worked in a restaurant, you just will not understand this movie. I have worked in restaurants, so I do understand it. Hilarious movie. I tried to watch it a couple weeks ago and I was like, God, this is a terrible movie. But it is funny, and I nostalgically remember it being funny, so we'll put it in as an A.
A tier for Waiting. John Luke, are you abstaining? Haven't seen it?
Yep.
And Jen, I agree with you. Everything you said, Josh said it as well. If you haven't worked in a restaurant, it's probably not going to be as funny to you. And Ryan Reynolds is fantastic in it, but the rest of the movie, I'm not so sure. But it's a classic, right? Like it's in the Ryan Reynolds anthology of like his classic movies.
Yes.
You can't talk about him without talking about Waiting. And that alone, I think, puts it in A tier for me. There we go. We made sure everybody didn't get pissed at us. Yeah, lots of A's, 3 S's, which is actually more S's than we usually have whenever we do these tier lists. We usually end up with 1, maybe 2. And Nate said Waiting is so good if you've worked in a restaurant.
So is it good if you've worked in a restaurant?
Yes.
So Jail, if you've and also if you've never worked in a restaurant, it might not be as good.
Okay.
That's another thing that you need to know about that movie.
Know.
Yeah. Eating in restaurants doesn't count. Has to be working in there. Ricky Butt saying Deadpool, Van Wilder, and Waiting are all GOAT status. Well, we got one of those up there in S tier for you. And Burner of Stone said, Jail, please, I implore you, I beg you, go watch Waiting immediately. We got some homework, Jail.
How can I not with that type of address?
Jail, what 3 movies are on? You've got Waiting, Selling the Cow, and there was one other movie you had to watch. What was the third one? Jen, do you remember what the third one was?
Proposal?
Was it?
Oh, six. Underground 6.
Underground 6. That was
6
it.
Underground.
6 Underground.
There you go.
You messed me up, JL.
Close enough.
Yeah, so you need to go watch 6 Underground, and I need to watch Selling the Cow, and I'm gonna rewatch 6 Underground as well.
It's Buying the Cow. You'll never find it if
Buying
you're
the
looking
cow?
for it. You're Selling the Cow.
Selling the Cow.
Yeah, you were right.
Oh, was that my fault too, Simon?
It's not.
Did I mess you up?
It's not on any streaming services. If you Google Selling the Cow, it's nowhere. I can't even find it on Amazon. But it ends up in S tier. You brought it up there. I'll let you know after I watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Awesome.
Jen, thank you so much for coming on and helping us with these running back tier lists and leading the way on this Ryan Reynolds movie tier list. We really appreciate it. Guys, if you do not follow Jen on Twitter, go follow her. It is at Jen Polvogt on Twitter. That is POLVOGT. And you can find her work over at IBT Media. Jen, where else can people find your work and what you're doing?
At IBT_media on Twitter. We in-between media.com. And then at 32 in 32FF. Plus we're Instagram, TikTok for IBT and 32 and 32. We're on all the socials.
Awesome.
And thanks for having me, guys. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
We'll have to bring you back on to play one of the competitive games too. Now that you've helped us with a tier list, maybe have you back on for like poll perception or something sometime.
Cool.
So if you can take Josh and Jail down. Okay. Josh said trading makes fantasy cool. Oh man, that just feels wrong, Josh. And Burner of Stone said Buying the Cow is on Stars.
Oh, okay.
Burner, we're worried about Selling the Cow. Were you not listening? That's the one we want to watch.
We have a cow. We need to move.
We have to get
rid of this thing. It's effort.
Okay, guys, I think that's it for us today. We will be back at 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow playing some fantasy quiplash. John, Luke, Jen, anything else you want to say before we jump?
Nope.
That is
Thanks
silence
again.
from Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds just shocked us into silence here at the end. Adios, everybody.